Wealth Builders Live Real Estate. I'll tell you what, this has been so much fun, you guys. I was a little nervous though last night. I left you, and you guys sounds like you had a great time.
We
We
behaved.
did.
Behaved.
It was
I don't
a
know.
lot of fun.
I was seeing your messages between each other, and I was like, do I have to go check this out? It's kind of like when Mike and my husband Dave get together, I have to talk to them before they get
I
on
know.
stage.
She does.
Well, you can all tell, like, you're part of our Wealth Builders family, right? So you know what this is all about. And we're just so grateful that you're joining us. We've just had so much fun this week. And too, I was going to tell you all that I was on Truth and Liberty, which you know, because I had to pop off. And Bill Bronchick was on for an hour and a half with me yesterday. And we covered a lot of things in real estate. So if you want a little more information, and you want to hear from Bill Bronchick a bit, go to the Truth and Liberty website, or you can go to their Facebook page or YouTube, and you can hear that information as well. We just really feel that now is the time we need to get equipped for real estate, which is why we are doing this week. It's why we did the real estate masterclass, while we're doing the workshops, because I was reading a quote today, guys, and it was just a reminder that millionaires are created during recessions. And you probably talked about that a bit yesterday. So we know that the market is appearing a little bit tough, but what we're seeing is opportunity. And we just want to get you in a position that you are ready to take advantage of that opportunity. I talked to a lot of people actually yesterday when I was at Charis Bible College, and they really were saying, you know what, I needed to hear this because they're shirking back, right? Because they're like, I don't know what's going on. But when we actually look at that history that God blesses us during a famine, which you're going to hear more about on Friday from Mike, it's really the time for us to get equipped and get ready with knowledge in real estate. So you might notice that we're in a little bit of a different background, okay? So yesterday, yesterday we were all in Colorado except for Troy. He's in Florida, and today we are all in Florida. And there's
Yes.
a very special reason for that. And so, Mike Davis, will you just share with everybody why we are all in Florida?
We have a session called Boots on the Ground. Although I don't know why it's boots, because that was when it was Indiana. It should be
True.
sandals or bare feet on the ground. It's what it should be here in Florida. But we have the advanced students that are going to come down, and well, they're already here in Florida for Thursday, all day Thursday and all day Friday. We're going to go and look at properties. We're going to go and look at rehabs. We're going to go and look at vacation properties that they could be interested in. It is just going to be a fun time. Food, great
Yes.
company. Jesus is Lord, I'm telling you.
Amen. It's so fun. And I love his Ed. One of our coaching clients just said, LOL, Mike. He thought that was pretty funny. And yeah, this is part of we have got our coaching program, which many of you that are on are a part of that. And we're so grateful. And then in the advanced coaching, which is more of that hands-on after getting a year of like really foundational, we add this boots on the ground. And so what's going to be really fun is tomorrow night, or tomorrow when we do this, we're going to be talking about vacation rentals, and we are on site actually looking at our vacation rentals, another group of vacation rentals that the kids manage down here, and potential vacation rentals. And this is really good timing, what we're going to talk about tonight, analyzing a deal, because literally we've got our advanced coaching students. We'll put some things on Facebook and Instagram so you can all check in and see that. And we gave them assignments. They have already looked at the areas that we assigned to them, and they have put forth listings that they feel could be potential buys. And then what we're doing tomorrow is we are literally going and looking at those. We've got worksheets for everybody. We're going to be analyzing them and just, doing that Wealth Builders family thing. So anyway, those of you that are in the first year coaching, this is something for you to look forward to. Those of you that are not in coaching yet, this is something that as you go through the first year that you would be eligible for. And let me tell you, it's just, there's nothing like it. We absolutely love our coaching family. We appreciate all of you. We consider you family, and we want to help you to flourish in real estate. And so, hey, Frank, why don't you tell everybody hi? You did a great job yesterday.
Hey, Hi, everybody from sunny Florida. We're glad to have you guys with us. And again, as I always say, we had a long day, but you join us, and that is special. Thank you.
Yes. And I know a lot of you are tuning in from all over. So if you wouldn't mind, if you're on chat, just go ahead and give a little shout out where you're tuning in from. We love to see that. And we know we've got a lot of people that are on Facebook as well. So just a reminder that this is an interactive webinar. And we're going to give you a little bit of information. Troy's going to lead that tonight, and I'll be introducing him in a moment. And then we're going to leave time for some questions and answers. So we've got Ed, who's coming in from San Francisco. Of course, Ed is in our coaching family. We really appreciate you. We've got Judy that is coming in from, I missed that area. Let's see. Oh, Orlando. Well, you're right here, Judy. We're in Cocoa Beach and in Melbourne. Paul from Plainville. Hello. Martha from San Jose. Tad from Anoka, Minnesota, another Minnesotan. That's awesome. Maureen, hello, Maureen and Jack. So she's from North Carolina. Jack's still in meetings. Oh, I love it, Matt and Tammy. We're so glad that you're joining us. And we've got Deb on from London. What a blessing. All right, so we're going to answer, like I said, as many questions as possible. Just a reminder that we have got the workshop coming up October 13th through the 15th, and we've got that code if you want to just go to the workshop, WB200, and the team will put that up there for you. But also, we produced a Wealth Builders Masterclass, which is on an online platform. It's 10 courses with multiple lessons in each. And I'm telling you, I really feel like it is a great, complete course. We've got Bill Bronchek is teaching on there. I'm on there talking about vacation rentals. Mike's on there. Frank's on there. Billy's got sessions on there. And we did this little deal for you that if you buy the master class, you will get the live stream ticket for free, or you can add on $200 and get the master class and the in-person, which is regularly $697, and you get it for $200. When I was on Lance's podcast, what he said, you guys, is just like, hey, this is what you need to do. You need to watch the master class before you go to the workshop. And it's true, because Dave and I, we had to hear it so many times before we finally got it. You guys are probably like that too. So if you can get a hold of that and listen to that a bit before the workshop, and then of course afterwards, you're really going to have all of this settled in. All right. So with that, I want to introduce to you, oh, Paul, I see your note too. You never received the slides. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the team is seeing that. If anybody wants the slides from Monday or Tuesday, send a note to info@wealthbuilders.org, and Carmelina, who is amazing at answering all those emails, will get that out to you. But if you send it to info@wealthbuilders.org, it'll get to the right people and they will send those slides right out. All right, so Troy Peterson, who is a real estate coach and just full of knowledge, property manager, a real estate, has a brokerage here, is leading our call tonight. And I love this because it's going to be like a live analysis. And what's kind of funny is Troy just picked the guys up from the airport, dropped them off, rushed back to your home, I guess, or office. So like he is really like, whoo, just made it on time. But I really think you're going to enjoy this. And of course, we'll be popping in with some comments as well. So Troy Peterson, welcome and thank you. We look forward to what you have to share with us tonight.
Thank you so much, Karen. What a great chance it is for us all to get together this weekend. I'm so excited. Had a great afternoon with Frank and Mike and Melody, and I'm looking forward to a lot more this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we started right off cracking jokes and just enjoying the heck out of each other. So this is going to be a lot of fun.
You guys, I'm shocked. Cracking jokes.
I know, it's totally against our nature.
Yep, completely.
I just can't believe it.
I had to calm Frank down, that's for sure.
Oh my goodness.
We're going to have a lot of fun. So we're going to have fun tonight too. I hope you're all ready to take some notes, because I'm going to give you some numbers, some statistics. I'm going to teach you how to do some math. Not algebra. The only algebra I know is not going to work here tonight. So we will keep it down to as simple as we can, but we're actually going to walk through an analysis on a piece of property. And I'm going to use an example on one that I just did a buy, rehab, refinance, and rent, the BRRRR strategy on. And so we're going to use this with live numbers, and I'm going to show you what we got into. So how about if I start off sharing a screen, if I can figure out how to do that. Here we go. Hopefully that is coming through now.
It is.
Good, good, good. So now be ready to take some notes. And Karen, Mike, Frank, jump in. I got you up on the screen. So if you got something you want to say and I'm not paying attention, just wave at me because we want to hear from everybody here. Okay.
Okay. We're
All
ready.
right. So let's jump in here. I want to start off with just a little bit of a prophetic note. We're in this because we're after building the kingdom of God. We're after doing what he has put on our hearts to do. In Joshua 24:13, God spoke to the tribe of Israel as they're coming in, and he says, I gave you a land which you had not labored, cities you had not built, and you dwell in them. You eat the fruit of the vineyards and the olive orchards you did not plant. That was a fulfillment of a word that was spoken in Deuteronomy when he says, I'm taking you into a promised land where you're going to live in houses you did not build. And here we are taking the land one house at a time, one property at a time, but we don't want to just move into any property. So we want to make sure we know how to analyze it. And that's what we're going to cover tonight, how to analyze it. So tonight what we're going to talk about is how you find value on a property. We're going to look at a short-term analysis. And by short-term, I'm talking fix and flip, something you have 6 months or less. We're going to look at long-term analysis. That's our cash flow analysis. And that could be short-term rentals, but it's a long-term investment strategy. We're going to talk about planning your exit strategy to put it together. So lots of stuff to cover here tonight. Again, long-term deals are properties that you get into that you hold long-term. They build cash flow and generational wealth. And Karen, what is it Billy says? If you can make it through one or two
real estate cycles.
2 real estate cycles. That's where the
Yes.
wealth comes in. So long-term generational wealth. Short-term deals are properties you hold 6 months or less. You can do wholesale assignments, a rehab and flip, or what I call a flash flip, which is also you just buy it and wholesale it right back out. So you don't have to do anything to it. You just buy it, sell it right away. So before you get into any of these deals, you really need to know how to analyze these properties. So to analyze the deal, we're going to take a look at this. This property you see in the background is a home that I bought. In fact, I just finished the refinance in it. I've got a cash flowing tenant in it. I got a great deal on it. We're going to go over the numbers that I use to be able to acquire this property. And we're going to show you the analysis and how the numbers actually worked on it. So it's going to be a great real-time example. Now, when you're analyzing a property, the most important thing you got to do is find your value. It's what we call our ARV. Frank talked about this last night. Frank, what is ARV again?
After repaired value.
That's right. That's what your property's worth once it's all fixed up. Every property has 2 values. It's got its as-is value, what it's worth in the condition that you're looking at it right now, and its ARV, its after repair value. That's what it's worth after you're done working on it. In order to find that, you're going to research market conditions, you're going to estimate your property condition, then you're going to plan your exit strategy, and you're going to find your MAO, your maximum allowable offer, because you don't want to pay too much on a property. You want to get it at the right price. So we'll start off by showing you how to do a simple CMA, a comparative market analysis. Now, a CMA is just a report. It's based on what the market, but more importantly, what not just what's sold, but what's sold recently, the last 30, 60, 90 days. Right now in our changing real estate market, I don't like to go back 120 days. I like to keep it within 60 to 90 days. I want comps as fresh as possible, and they want to be within a 1 mile radius. Now, that might sound like a little overwhelming statistic, but it's pretty easy to find comps within that range, isn't it, Karen?
It is.
So one way you can look at comps is Zillow. Now, this is a screenshot I grabbed from Zillow today, because I want to show you how you can be able to look at Zillow. Now, If you look at the top, I don't know if my mouse pointer comes out across this or not, but you can see where I've got sold kind of highlighted toward the top left. I selected sold from the drop-down list so I could see what's sold in the neighborhood. And then all the way over to the right, the button that says more with the number 1, I selected that and I scrolled all the way down to where it says sold in the last, and this is a drop-down menu. I took 6 months. Zillow will give you comps that can be 5 years old. So you definitely want to sort this out. You want newer, fresher comps. And then the cool thing about Zillow is you've got a bird's eye view of the map. So you can see the houses that you got there on the right side of the screen. Those are sales within that map boundary. And then all the little yellow bubbles that you see on the map, those are homes that actually sold. Now, if you can see my property that I bought for $220, and that's the second from the left over there. And right across the street, there's a sale of a similar property for $365. What does that tell you about value? We've got some potential value there, some good ARV. So now I knew that this property needed a little bit of work. I told you I bought it, I rehabbed it, I refinanced it, and I rented it. But it didn't need that much work. It just needed the kind of work that made them unable to sell it on the open market. And these particular sellers did try. They listed it on the MLS with a real estate agent. They tried it for 90 days. And at the end of that 90 days, they couldn't get it closed because nobody could get insurance on it because it has a little problem called polybutylene plumbing. They didn't have the money to repair it. They got a $12,000 quote to repipe, and I had it done for $5,800. So it pays to know who you know to get things done and to get it done cheap. So I knew I could solve that problem cheap, but it was still a price where they could sell me this property at a really good rate. So enough on that story. Let's keep going on our analysis. So you can see how easy it is to zoom in on the map and find your comps. That makes it real easy to know exactly what you've got going on. You can also look at rents this way, and it's very, very important to know your rents. Now, I pulled rents up from Zillow. Zillow won't tell you what rented, but it will tell you what's for rent. So I went into Zillow, I searched this neighborhood, I looked at for rent, and I came up with all these cool little purple balloons. And of course, there's the houses that you can see on the right-hand side that are giving me an idea for rent. All I had to do was match my property to a few of these subjects, and I knew what my rent was going to be. And it probably took me about 2 minutes. Now, if you're not used to doing this, it might take you 5. And if you're part of our coaching program, then you will always be able to get feedback from us on this to make sure you're validated. But if you're buying a property with regular financing, your lender is also going to help validate these numbers. So you're going to have a couple of safety features. One, your coach, if you're working with a coach, or 2, your lender that's going to help keep you out of trouble and make sure your numbers are right. Because that appraisal that the lender does is going to look at value, but they're also going to look at potential rental income on that. So you will be covered both ways. Now, once you've done a little research, you want to pull, I would say, 3 to 4 comps. And you're going to pay attention to a couple of key metrics here. You're going to look at what the sold price is, and you're going to pay attention to what the price per square foot that it sold is. Now, I'm going to give you an example and break down these numbers on this particular property so that you can see exactly how we arrive at this and how I'm using this data to get there. So we showed you how to pull comps from Zillow. When you want to pull 3 to 4 comps, you're going to use the average sold price of the most recent and similar comps. And to help keep you focused, look for properties, comparable sales that are similar in square footage, the square footage within about 20% of your subject, give or take. It could be 20% above, 20% below. But if you're looking at a 1,500 square foot house, don't pull in a 3,000 square foot house. That price per square foot is going to skew so much that it won't give you accurate readings. Keep your square footage within about 20%. This is the list of properties that I compiled. I actually found 6 comps, but I only chose 3 of these. Now, I tell you, my value came in at about 340 and my appraisal came in at 342. I'm pointing that out now because if you look on some of these, you might find that, let me see here if I can spotlight this a little bit. This one that sells at 313, this one at 314. They're selling a bit less than my appraisal at 340, but they're also smaller in square foot. This is 1,410, this is 1,307. That price per square foot actually caused them to sell for a little less, but because my subject was bigger, it gives me a better value. So I'm going to pick my 3 comps. And the 3 I picked are this one that sold for 313, this one that sold for 314, one that sold for 320, and one that sold for 345. Now the 345 is closest in size to my subject. So that one is a pretty solid quote. Let me show you how we did the math on this, because we broke it down a little bit and we took the 3 comps. So this subject was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,602 square feet. Comp number 1, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,503 square foot, sold for 345. Comp number 2, 1,410 square foot, sold for 314. Comp number 3, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,517 square foot, sold for 320. Now I find the average of the sold price. I do that by taking 345, 314, and 320, add them all together, and then divide them by 3. 3 comps, divide by 3, gives me my average sold price at 326, 333. That's step 1 of finding your ARV. Step 2, you want to do your price per square foot. So I had my average sold price at 326. I found the price per square foot of each one of those, and my average price per square foot is 221. If I take that times 1,602, that gives me a value of 354. Now, if I take my high end of 354, my low end of 326, and I average in the middle, I've got an ARV of 340, and this property happened to appraise at 342. So you can see how doing a little math like that really helps you decide what is the best value for your property. The key is to finding the right comps. Frank, do you want to add anything to that?
I think you're doing a great job so far, Troy. Keep going. I'm sure I'll have something to say. You know me, but
I know
right
you.
now,
I'm counting on you.
You're doing great.
Wonderful. All right. So then when we go to write our offer, the way I approach this property, because it needed repairs, I'm going to use my short-term acquisition model. And that's my ARV, which is after repair value, minus 30% minus the cost of repairs. So this example, I've got an ARV of 340. I subtract 30%, that's 102,000. I estimated repairs at 20,000. I spent about 14.5, a little bit less than 14.5 actually. But I came up with a max offer of 218, and my actual contract purchase price was 220. Now, I know here we get a lot of the question, why would somebody sell me their house that's worth 340 for 220? Karen, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, well, it can be a lot of different things, but like Billy says, it's like find out the situation of the seller. And so that sometimes people are in a situation they do not want to go through the whole process of selling the home. They might be under duress a bit. Maybe it's a death in the family. Some things like that gives people the opportunity, like they're just like, I want to get out, and they will take a lower price. Also, we really look for this, and Troy, you do too, when you find those properties that really have some issues with them. And I'm not saying major, sometimes it is major things that you're willing to, replace the HVAC and everything else. But a lot of times it's just a mess, or it's really dated. And the people that are in there, the last thing they want to do is have a lot of people come through to look at their house. And so that's what I would say. And we found our best deals either in situations where there's a death in the family and the family just wants to get rid of it, or the people living there are just so overwhelmed with life that they're either hoarders or their property is just not kept up and they are just looking for a way out.
Great stuff. Good stuff. And it is exactly as Karen said and what Billy said. The seller's situation, that changes everything. Now, this particular property was actually an inherited property. I dealt with 4 adult siblings on this property. They were selling their mom's house after she had passed. None of them were in a place where they could financially fix it. They couldn't take care of the plumbing problem. They couldn't fix some things. There was some other cosmetic issues we fixed and old broken tiles from a poor installation job somebody had done for this poor woman. And they just didn't want the burden of it. And they were anxious to get out of it. And that's how we're able to strike the price. I've actually done a few properties that way this year. You find them in that type of position, and it's real easy to start picking them up at that kind of discount. I see Frank and Mike both nodding their heads as well, because you guys have both seen this as well, correct?
Yes.
And get the thumbs up from Mike.
Yeah, matter of fact, Troy, one of the properties we're looking at tomorrow, you're familiar with, that we are working on rehabbing right now, that was exactly the scenario. The mom had passed, the drains were collapsed, things that they just didn't want to deal with. And we were able to come in and bless them with a decent offer based on the condition of the home, and really bring transformation back to that property and bring it back to its, original intent of beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that property tomorrow. I know what it looked like when you bought it and what a mess it was. And I've only seen it a couple of times in my travels. Last time I saw it, the plumbing had just been put in the ground, but the walls were all still bare. So I really am very excited to see the progress that you've made on it tomorrow. This is going to be good.
It's going to be fun.
Now, I also calculated on that based on my loan amount. Now, I bought this with a hard money loan, and all I really did was pay my points and fees when I got to the table. So I financed $220,000. And in fact, I took $12,000 of the closing table, and $11,500 of that was my repair budget that I had submitted with my lender. So when I refinanced my loan right at $220,000. Monthly P&I, now I just ran this today. My rate happened to be just about what Google popped up with. This is a Google mortgage calculator, and my rate is like 8.2. This popped up with 8.15, which would be a rate that you might get on a 30-year fix today. Now, if you're with us last night, you heard us talking about rates, and don't worry about high rates. They really don't matter. It's all about the cash flow, and this is an example. So this came out with a monthly payment of $1,638. Now that's just principal and interest. So I've got to add into that taxes and insurance. Now, when I did my rent survey, I found rents at $2,300. My principal and interest payment was $1,640. My taxes and insurance averaged out to be about $350 a month. And I will let you know, I also inflated that number a little bit because I know that the people I bought it from had held it for a long time. Their taxes were low, and my taxes will go up next year. So I'm forecasting what my taxes will be next year. They're actually about $120 less than that this year per month. So, but I'm projecting my taxes next year. So I got a payment of $1,990, but a rent of $2,300. So there's my $310 a month positive income coming in that. And that is pretty much the exact target that we teach everybody at Wealth Builders, isn't it, Mike?
It sure is. And so I think this is a great example, Troy, of people that are afraid that when they see interest rates at 8%, this is a great example. There is no fear in this.
This is what it's all about. It's all about cash flow. And if you were with us last night, and if you heard us talk at all, we do talk about income. When you buy a piece of property like this, you're buying an income stream. That's the goal. You build wealth, long-term wealth and income. So Karen, can you tell us how the wealth is developed and what because we got the benefits of the income that happen every month, and then the wealth happens. What are the many ways that we get wealth from real estate?
Yeah, the great thing about real estate is you have like three things going on at the same time. One of them is you've got your cash flow, which Troy is showing here. And I think we could all agree that at $300 a month, we're not going to get super wealthy just on that alone, right? But it covers all the costs. The second one is we know that real estate has appreciation. And one of the things that we teach, and Billy really emphasizes, is that cash flow is so important because it allows you to ride the ups and the downs of the real estate market. Because you don't want to get in a position where you have to sell when the market is down. And when you know you have cash flow, which is what we teach, you know that you can sustain that payment through the cycles of real estate. And then the third one is the mortgage. So that's appreciation. The third one is you've got a renter in there that is covering and paying down your mortgage. So you've got cash flow, you've got appreciation, and then you've got your mortgage being paid down. So I like to call that a trifecta, Troy.
That is. And then we could really start to dazzle them and talk about depreciation, but that's a whole new webinar.
Yeah, the whole
itself.
taxes part, right?
Yeah.
The tax benefits are amazing as well. So it's, but as Karen said, we don't get rich off $300 a month, but if you do this a few times, now it's not 300, now it's 600, 900, 1200. And then you multiply that times 12, and now you start to build a pretty nice passive income stream. Is that right?
That's
That's
right.
right.
Yep. Passive income is my favorite kind of income. It's the kind of income where other people get up and go to work every morning so they can put money in your pocket. That's the kind of income that we like. So when you're planning your exit strategy, I just showed you how you can look at a property, you can find the ARV, you can calculate your cash flow based on the rents, and you know now how much you can offer on that property. And when you buy it at this rate, you can wholesale it for quick cash, you can hold it for cash flow, you can rehab it and retail it, rehab it and flip it is also known, so that you can make the profits, or you can do like I did, rehab and rent, and really be able to enjoy that long-term cash flow and all the cool tax benefits. So now you know how to find the value doing something simple. We just did a quick Zillow search. Those were screenshots that I took for your example just today. Very, very easy to tool. We've looked at the short term, which is the less than 6 month analysis. We've looked at the long term, the cash flow analysis. So you're now equipped to be able to plan your exit strategy. So you want to add anything to that, Frank? I see you smiling in there.
I'm smiling because I'm happy. I'm Florida. No, but Troy, how do you rehab something for rent versus you're going to retail it out to somebody?
Oh, no, that's a great question, Frank, because there are two types of rehab. You can rehab something for rent. Now, this one, if I was going to rehab it for a flip, I would have completely updated the kitchen instead of leaving the original 1990s. This house was built in the early 90s. And I kept the original oak cabinets, and it still had a nice cabinets, nice countertop, but it's the 1990s oak.
Yeah.
If I was going to rehab it for a flip, I would have replaced those and completely updated the kitchen and put in new granite tops and changed things. But for a rental, I just got rid of the broken tile, rolled some nice luxury vinyl plank flooring on. We put a fresh coat of paint on. We put carpet in the 3 bedrooms. And of course, I took care of the plumbing for the polybutylene. So I was able to make it a nice property that's very, very comfortable, very, very clean, and showed very well so that it would come as a rental, but I did it significantly less than I would do it for a rehab. You couldn't sell that retail if you don't do the kitchen. Is that right, Frank?
That's right. Kitchen, bathrooms, etc. You know, you bring another point too with your lower offer. That's why it's really important to work with a realtor that works with investors, because I'm going to tell you right now, 95% of 95% of regular realtors are going to tell you they're not going to present the offer, even though they're supposed to do that by law, because it's too low. And if you work with one that owns some properties and is an investor, they know how to present those offers to a seller and get those through.
That's absolutely correct. So, and I know one of the questions we've got there too is about finding properties. We talked about how you can find some of these properties. Now, I do some advertising. I do a lot of direct mail postcards out to a target list and get people to call me. And that's how I buy most of these properties, is doing some advertising. Now, if you're part of our coaching program and you've got access into the Legal Wiz program, then they've got a great, Frank, you and Bill have a fantastic Finding Motivated Sellers training in there, right?
Oh yeah, thank you. And they got to be motivated though.
They do. Yep. So now I'll give you an example of a motivated seller. Another property that I bought earlier this year really needed nothing but a dip in a paint bucket. It had a new roof. It had been replumbed. The electrical had been updated. It had a pool. I mean, the property was in great shape. and it would have sold really good retail, maybe just a little bit below market because it was a bit dated, but it still could have been a quick sale. And I met with those people and I told them, you could probably sell it right now yourself for 300, or I'll give you 215, maybe 220, somewhere. I forget exactly what I bought it for. Maybe it was right around 220, about the same as this. And they says, yeah, we don't have time for a realtor. We need the money now. So we signed the contract and I went to closing in 3 weeks. They were motivated. You don't find those every day, but when you do find them, those are great deals to have. And of course, you got to turn the rocks over. You got to do a little advertising. You got to do some networking. You
Yeah.
got to know those realtors that know people. And
Yeah.
I'll throw out one more example before I quiet down here. I've got some realtors. In fact, I've got one particular favorite realtor, Barbara, who she works exclusively with properties with aging homeowners. And so these are end of life scenarios, and she's liquidating them for estates or liquidating them as they're downsizing or moving into assisted living or passing on. And so she deals with these properties. She sent me one about 2 weeks ago. And she sent me pictures and everything with just all in caps and a smiley face. Want to see? It's a definite hoarder house. She told me the probate's tied up until November, but she's giving me first look at it to come in and make an offer. And I met her just doing a regular transaction. She was such a great seller's agent to work with. We started talking. Now she brings these properties to me whenever she gets them. That's all part of networking. You get to know those realtors like Frank and Karen were talking about, and they bring them right to you.
Yeah. Yep.
So we get into a bit of this kind of stuff at our workshop, don't we, guys?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, and we do have that coming up here in October. So I would encourage everybody, if you really want to plug in and get to know more, consider joining us for the Wealth Builders Workshop in October there in Denver. You can do it live, which is my favorite because it's just such a wonderful family. It's it's weird. I lived here in Melbourne for we moved over here 5 years ago and bought our real estate company that we've got. We've been building it up ever since, and we were kind of felt isolated. We got this great kingdom business mentality, but we're just not making connections. We made one trip to Wealth Builders. We made friends for life, and now look, here we are.
All in
Absolutely
this
love
together.
it.
Well,
Yeah, we're all together here in Florida. This is amazing. And it all happened because of my family with Wealth Builders. And we'd love to be part of your family too. Karen, do you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, I just want to just remind everybody too that the in-person is limited. So, don't wait too long on that. Plus, we still have that WB200, $200 off code. And so the regular price for in-person is $697. With that code, you can attend for just $497 and bring a guest for $297. Or if you want to just really get immersed in this, do what I was describing at the beginning, and what Lance Wallnau is recommending is get that real estate masterclass that we put together. You can go to wealthbuilders.org/masterclass. And if you purchase that, you've got lifetime access to that digital teaching. It includes some templates, all the PowerPoints. We actually do a live master class call where we analyze deals with you online, even once a month, which has been really fun. And then you get the live stream for free, or if you just spend $200 more for $697, you not only get the master class plus access to those live private calls for masterclass students, but you also get a ticket to come in person. And we like it because we get to see you. We actually keep these workshops at a small amount. We max them out at about 100 because we want to spend time with you. We do speed coaching. We do our baby shark tank where we analyze deals for you live. We choose a couple of you out of the audience. We have networking sessions. We've got a young entrepreneurs, young investors networking on Friday night. And then those of you that have been in the coaching program or are part of it now, you know that we do the private coaching networking with Billy and Becky and all of us on Friday afternoon before every event. So anyway, take a look at that. Check it out on the website, wealthbuilders.org/masterclass. Or if you want to just attend the workshop, go to wealthbuilders.org/events, or the team is going to put that link up here. So, hey guys, we've got a couple questions that I would like to have us answer before we sign off here. Does that sound good?
That sounds
Yeah.
good. I'm going to stop sharing here so we can share.
Awesome. So, Yvette, thank you so much for joining us. Yvette actually had a couple questions that she asked. One of them was she wants an email link to our Facebook page where we post these webinar recordings. And so, Yvette, you can. We also have them on the YouTube channel, which is Billy Epperhart YouTube channel. And so, and you can get the PowerPoint that Troy just shared as well. So just reach out to us at info@wealthbuilders.org and we'll get all that information. One thing that I think is amazing about Billy and Becky is they've really set a culture that if you reach out to us at that email, we answer you. And Carmelina, bless her heart, is amazing. You will love her. She's the one that is communicating with you behind the scenes. There and other team members as well, but that's info@wealthbuilders.org. Okay, we've got a question from Ed. Hello, Ed, who we all know. Ed's in the coaching program. So here we go. Ed says, how do you find these types of properties and sellers? His latest idea is to reach out to a number of FHA and VA loanees at random in the metro areas that he's most interested in. He chose them because they would have lower equity than people with conventional mortgages. And my goal is to work with motivated sellers to even take over their loans. He's working on a list of about 325 people. Is that a good idea or a waste of time? And he says here, this is so cute. He said, I hope I'm not doing what Troy described as going down a prop stream rabbit hole. So anyway, I would just love to get some input from each of you. Mike, let's start with you on that. What would you say to Ed?
Well, I think just like what Troy was talking about, he sends out these letters, and there's a program on LegalWiz. What is that called that helps marketing?
Marketing to motivated sellers.
There you go, marketing to motivated sellers. And so I don't know if Ed has watched that or not, but that would be good for him to make sure that he watches that and gets more info. But I don't think it's a rabbit hole. I'm not for sure what he's asking, but I think that's a great thing to do. I mean, I think Troy said you got to turn over some rocks. One of you guys said about turn over some rocks if you're going to find something. So I think that's a good thing.
Great. Frank?
Well, I think the FHA and VA loanees is a good idea. I mean, the thing about FHA, 50% of marriages unfortunately end in divorce, and VA loans, what happens to those folks? Well, they get shipped out, and unfortunately, those people that are protecting our rights and everything, the divorce rate is high amongst those guys, those people too. I think what I might do though, Ed, is possibly, I think the 325 mailings is great. I think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a waste of time at all. But what I would do is see if you could get a list that, is VA loans or whatever within a certain price range or whatever and location. But I would look at some that were purchased between about 7 or 8 years ago to maybe a couple years ago, because those are probably in the area where people are starting to have some problems. And so just a thought.
Great.
Can I add something, Karen?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just got this thought, if you live in a smaller community, like Pueblo is a smaller community, there's usually 1 or 2 realtors that really get a lot of the most of the foreclosures. And so if you can, we've been talking about networking. So if you can network and maybe find those realtors and become, take them out for coffee or whatever, let them know what you're looking for, you can really get some good deals and good relationships going that way to help you out.
That's
Absolutely.
great. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Troy?
Sure. It's Ed. I agree with Frank. What he said, 325 is a good list to be mailing. I think the prop stream rabbit hole you might be fearing would be spending too much time trying to find the right data before you do your mailing. So consider Frank's suggestion of pulling properties that could be a particular type loan. I don't even worry about what type of loan it is. I just look at properties that have been bought between 7 and 10 years ago and that are at or below my median home price for my market area. Because I know those homes, once I get them, they're the easiest to sell, they're the easiest to cash flow. They just make sense. And I don't pay attention to what type of loan it is or anything. And then when I meet with the seller, or talk with the seller, I find out what their needs are. And if sub 2 meets their needs, we'll do a sub 2 deal. If a quick cash closing meets their needs, we'll do that deal. We'll just find out what their needs are and try to meet it. So maybe instead of being quite so specific, to narrow it down to that, you open it up a little bit, like Frank was saying, and you might find a few more opportunities.
Yeah.
Awesome.
One
Go
of
ahead,
the
Frank.
one of the sources we use, I mean, there are several sources you can buy great lists from. And if you want to, Ed, we can get on a call and we can help you kind of, slice and dice that down. But
Because Ed's in coaching.
yeah, yeah, of course, yes. Listsource.com or realfastdata.com. Yeah, I know. I've heard from Ed a lot,
Yes,
which is
we
good
love
as
that.
executive.
Yeah,
He's
we know
engaged and he's doing it.
Ed's after it. He's doing good.
He's doing
I
what he
just
should
want to
be
let
doing.
people know, like we can't hop on a Zoom with everybody, right?
No.
That's right.
We'd
Yeah,
love
no,
to.
yeah, with Ed.
Right.
Yeah, we'll hop
Great.
on a private call with you, buddy.
Awesome. That's so awesome. Okay. Another question we have here is from Sharon, and Sharon is actually a coaching client as well. She said she just set up her LLC. Do I now quit claim my property into the LLC? And if I still have a mortgage on the property, do I need to contact my mortgage company before quit claiming the property into the LLC? Frank, I'm going to go right back to you on this one.
Well, yeah, whenever I buy an investment property, I already tell the lender that it's going to be an investment property. I'm not going to live there. So they've got fair warning. So they're probably going to make you close in your personal name. Most of them will. But then you can go ahead and quit claim it into your entity, your LLC. But the thing you can't forget is you got to make sure you move the insurance with it too. We talked a little bit about this last night. If you have that under your LLC and it's just insured under your personal name, you could have problems if there were issues with that property. So a good way to do that is to talk to your insurance. By the way, that's where a good insurance broker is valuable, because not every insurance company will insure an LLC. And so you want to make sure that it's your main insured is your LLC, and then list yourselves personal names as additional insureds.
Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, we are out of time tonight. This has been amazing. I just want to thank everybody that joined us for being a part of this. And we're doing this again tomorrow. We're going to be talking about vacation rentals. We're going to be on site, so you'll be able to see our advanced real estate coaching family there. And probably wish you were all joining us here in Florida, but you can be a part of it. If some of you are interested in coaching too, you can go to wealthbuilders.org, and then you can choose the top, you choose coaching. And some of you that have been in the coaching program, you may not be aware that we have just rolled out a brand new advanced real estate coaching that includes the boots on the ground, like we're doing this week. It's very hands-on, very like working together, sort of like more like, I don't know how to describe it, almost like workshops in a small group where we give you assignments, we follow through, you share with people. So we would love to have you take a look at this and really take advantage of the opportunity that's ahead of us. So anyway, I just want to thank you, Troy, for putting this together tonight. Thank you, Frank, for being a part of this. Thank you, Mike. Is there any last, thoughts that you guys want to share before we sign off here?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. If you've got questions or want access to these PowerPoints, again, email us at info@wealthbuilders.org. God bless you and have an amazing rest of the day. Bye-bye.